Welcome to the Good, the Bad, and the Sequel Q&A. My name's Doug. So the next sequel that we're going to be covering is a special one. It's one that everyone talks about when it comes to the sequel. Oh, why'd they make that sequel? But I'm happy they did because I can't wait to talk about it with Jamie and our action sequel expert, Andrew Powers, talking Speed to Cruise Control. And for it, I talked to an actress who was in that. She was on Days of Our Lives. She was on the first season of Step by Step. She was a voice in Babe. She was in pretty much everything. Patrika Darbo. Man, what a great time chatting with her. She was the first person I ever talked to that started in that like late 70s, 80s in Hollywood. She was on Different Strokes, The Jeffersons, so many cool TV shows that I grew up watching on Nick at Night. And then also in these big movies, and like The Burbs, one of my favorite movies as a kid, and still me and my wife watch it pretty much whenever we have an opportunity. Very small role as Art's wife, but so neat. Her roles on Seinfeld, you name it. Her credits, I'll put her IMDb link in the episode notes, but everything. And then we talked about like on Step by Step. Really neat. Like she knew like, wow, man, this show, this guy Cody, we're not going to be on here next year. And she kind of guessed her own fate. But then she went on to bigger and better things. Always in her career. That's always happening. And I loved her journey growing up in Jacksonville. Her stepdad was his traveling secretary for the Braves. So at that point, they go up to Milwaukee. And then after that, Milwaukee, they make the move from Milwaukee to Atlanta. So she was there. So much fun. Patrika, some great stories of Hollywood and perseverance. She has such an amazing outlook. She was a blast to talk to. So yeah, before I start the interview, if you're new here, you smell great. I love what you're doing with your hair. That's so cool. Wow. Really neat. You're really going for it. And yeah. So without further ado, I'm going to share my yapper. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. Check out our website, sequelsonly.com. If you're on YouTube, subscribe there. There'll be an unedited video interview of this, so you can check that out. But right now, I'm going to shut my yapper and introduce you to actress Patrika Darbo. Yeah, well, it's getting nicer. Where are you stationed now? Are you back where you grew up, or are you in California?
No, I'm in California, and
Nice.
I've lived here longer than where I grew up, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet.
We're having little sprinkles right now, and for us, it's pretty chilly because it's like 58 or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm in Jersey. I'm born and raised in Jersey. I lived in Oregon for a little bit, but it's finally it's thawing out here, which is it's so depressing, especially when you have like the shorter days and it's cold. Your kids can't go outside. My kids are getting stir crazy. So finally, it's starting to break next week. We'll
And
be in the
wait,
60s.
and one Sunday we have spring ahead, so we're losing
Yeah.
out. We're supposed to have more sunlight or something. I don't know what the hell that is.
I'll
But
take that. I'll take it. But yeah, so this will be a lot of fun. It's so funny. Like when I started interviewing people like 6 years ago, I talked with Bill Bickley like early on.
love Bill, yes.
Yeah, and then I just talked to Enya Flack a few weeks ago, who worked on
Yes.
that, and it's just so cool because that seems like such a long time ago in the sense of like that TV family get together, like TGIF. Like you'd really
Yeah,
sit there as a family for 2 hours, and I couldn't imagine that now. Like there's no like it's it's on demand. Everything's on demand now, so there's not that whole sitting down. I think that's it's such a
and
cool thing.
everybody's here.
Oh
Everybody's here.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, so you don't have those like, oh, I got to be home at 8. It's not like that too much anymore. Maybe for some shows people will still do that, but not as much. But no, I just can't wait to talk about you. So so growing up in Florida, like when was that point that you thought of this crazy career of acting? Because obviously growing up in Florida, that's such a far thing. It's not like there was acting schools everywhere then. I know colleges did have something.
Well, I left Florida when I was 11, so
Oh,
it
no
wasn't.
way. So where were you at after that?
Well, then I was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh,
I
awesome.
don't. Maybe you don't know, Doug. My dad was my stepdad. My mother and father divorced, and my mother remarried, and we moved to Wisconsin because my stepdad was with the Braves organization.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So then it was he'd been with the Boston Braves, Milwaukee Braves, and then when they moved to Atlanta, he was with the Atlanta Braves, and that's when I moved to Georgia.
Oh,
And
wow.
and then I left Georgia for California, and basically that's where my professional career started, was back out here. Um,
Yeah. But what made you get into it? Was it just watching, or was it a
wait,
school play, or
I did all of that, and
yeah.
my mother said I was like Sarah Bernhardt when I came out of the womb. So uh, my nickname all the time was Queenie. So I was Sarah Bernhardt for sure. Anyway, um, it's just it's like anything. It's like if you so into numbers, you become an accountant or a CPA because that's what your whole life just is. That's what feeds your soul, what makes you happy. And mine was performing and making other people laugh. But at the same time, I was also overweight all my life, and so I faced a lot of bullies. And I learned to make them laugh instead of start poking fun at me. And so I was friends with everyone because I was, genial and nice and stuff. There were some stinkers around, but
I'm sure.
that's what happened. You find the thing that lets you fit in, and that was mine. Was the comedian? So
Wow, okay. So how did you know anybody in California? Like, what was that bridge to get there? Was it just, "I gotta
it,
go out
my
there?"
we told my dad, my stepdad, we were gonna my friend and I did it together, and she said, "Well, we can let's either go to New York, because she was an artist too. Let's either go to New York or California." And my dad was like, "You're not going to New York. Oh my God, you'll be killed." No, like
Oh,
this.
yeah, that was really rough. That was the mid-70s,
Yeah,
right? That's when New York was,
yeah.
like, scary, yeah.
And my mother's best friend lived, and who had always been our aunt. You know how parents' big best friends are your aunt or your uncle at this
Yeah.
point. Um, she lived in California, so I had some kind of a rock when we got here. We lived with her for a while till we found our own place and jobs, and then I listen. I had been an investigator, credit investigator in Georgia, and so when I came out, I ended up getting a job like that because I'm not real good waitress, and uh, because I'm like the person that comes to the table and taps the glass and goes, "Okay, all right, do we know what we want? All right, you know what you want. Let's start right now about who doesn't want mayonnaise, who wants mustard, who doesn't want this and that. Let's get that all out of the way. Because when I bring it, I don't want anybody adding something that's not here." And
Yeah,
they
yeah.
all go, and it was like, they were like, "Okay, okay, I don't want mayonnaise. I like mustard." Like this. So anyway, and then I did work at a restaurant for a little bit, but it was like a five and dime kind of restaurant, with the bar and stuff. And after I dumped broccoli on a couple people because it slid off the I fortunately got an, audition and a part, and I went to back to Texas to perform in Bottoms Up. So, I did that. So I lasted as a waitress for 2 weeks, but I had been but then when I came back, I wasn't, I really didn't have any other professional things going on. So you got to pay the rent. So I went back to being a credit manager, a credit investigator. And then from that, I worked my way up to being a credit manager of, do you know JBL Speakers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was their national credit manager.
Oh my, so you were doing this, like, while you're auditioning? So when you get out there
Oh,
in, like, the
yeah,
mid-70s?
I
Wow.
never turned in vacation time or anything if I got a part, and so, no taking lunches. That's when I requested, if please get my audition here, because back then you went into the office to audition.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
sat with the directors and the casting director and the producers. Nowadays, it's like you just go in the bathroom and, excuse me, tape yourself as long as you don't have a bad echo. It's crazy, crazy. It's really
Do you
changed.
miss that? Do you feel like some of the not the charm, but, maybe some of the connection on set, like, between maybe a director or casting director or
I
writer?
think a lot. those times were a lot better, I think, because there was y- y- when you put it on tape, your personality off camera is not revealed.
Yeah.
When you go into a room and you say hi to everybody and they talk to you for a few minutes, everybody's got a feeling of who you are. And then suddenly you can suddenly become, well, I said to the son of a bitch, like, so
Yes.
you can,
Yeah.
and they sort of see, oh my God, she's so friendly. We'd have a great time with her and she can really do this. So, I mean, so it's been a disadvantage, I think, for actors and for the casting people, the producing people and stuff, because when you're acting with a camera, there's no eyes, there's no feeling coming back to you as you get from another actor. Now, we do have readers, but you can't be looking at the reader. You have to be here in the camera. So it makes it a little difficult for the uh, really getting to know the person that's auditioning, and could I work with them for 3 months? Could I, or a year? Would they get along with everybody else? And so it's those are kind of things I think for me personally
Yeah,
I've
no, I
missed.
agree. I agree.
I've
That's gonna
missed.
be so hard. It's funny you mentioned accountant before because that's what I went back to school for when my daughter was. We were like, hey, we're gonna have a kid. I'm like, I gotta get like a real job. I did sales, not like it's not a real job. I just wanted a job that I could, like, the more education, the more you do it, like you grow and grow and grow. So I said that I was like, man, I'm 35 going back. I'm like, if I can just audition, if I can get the interview, like get to that next stage, like I know that they'll like me enough, and that's a big thing that is with hiring. If you know the job, of course you have to know the job that you're going for. But if they really like you, they're gonna be like, man, I want to, I could talk to this guy, like when it's
But
not
yeah,
work
because
related, and
in
that's a
reality,
big thing.
because
Yeah,
you're going to be working with this person 8 hours a day.
totally.
So and hopefully they're going to retire from the company, or blah blah blah, or work their
Yeah.
way up, but I'll still know them in the company. So it's that personal. Uh, Computers, and now we've got AI, which is even
Ugh.
more killing our business
Yeah.
than most any business. And um, but again, change is inevitable, so you've got to go with it and figure out how you fit in that. And I'm like, I like go. Well, I'm retired. I have two pensions. Maybe I'm not going to understand all this. So it's crazy business, but it's what it's what makes me happy. It's what keeps me going. It keeps me from turning to alcohol or drugs, or, jumping off a bridge,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I get that, my soul is being fed, if there's another way to put that. So,
100%. Yeah, being creative, like you're feeding your soul every time you're
right.
but
Every time.
I think hopefully again, you always hope like change is inevitable, but you hope things do turn back because I think after like maybe so many projects, like I'm not saying some of these big movies that flop wouldn't flop, but I feel if there was that in-person audition, but I do feel there's so many times I watch these shows that are new and like in pilot, it's like, man, it seems like these people have never been together that much. And
No,
even like the
it's
guest
so
stars.
interesting if you watch a lot of the sitcoms that end up we change and bring over here, and they're not as successful, and other times they are. But I think it's in the casting. I'm sure that Ricky Gervais didn't look at tapes to decide who he was going to put in the office.
Oh,
Do you
I
know what I'm
know.
saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, and then certainly those people all mesh together in our Steve Carroll's pr- production of it's that kind of thing. If you watch a lot of the English television, they're also mostly based in reality, in the fact that they look like real people. They're not models. They're not um, gorgeous women.
They're
Do you know?
relatable.
Yeah, absolutely. They look
Yeah.
like your teacher, or they look like they could be a this, or they could be that. Um, Not taking anything away from that, but there's a different kind of thing, and you just know that those people have worked their way up. And you can talk to these English actors who suddenly become a British actor, an American actor. They pull the accents up like crazy. That their training, I think, is a little more extensive than ours is sometimes, but some wonderful product out of there. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's I love getting people's take on the audition. And I know you it's so funny when I searched for your name on YouTube, the first one that came up was that you chatted with your pal Patrick Laberto. And he
yes,
does a lot of the training to help people with, because that's the new world of doing that like audition. And obviously he has a ton of experience doing it since he was
Oh,
pretty
absolutely,
much in
yes. You know,
diapers.
I grew up with him. I mean, I
Yeah.
he and his brother, both of them were like little kids and stuff. I
Yeah.
think I was I think I was a fairy in a show that he was in or something. I don't know what the hell, but we did stage things together and stuff. So he's like family. So, um, but yeah, and you do learn different techniques and things like that. There's a wonderful lady named Judy Kane who does commercials out the wing wang, and she's going to be helping. She teaches classes and things on it because if you watch TV, all of a sudden she's here, she's there, she pops up all the time. She's learned a technique that she's sharing now with other people to do that, and that too is one of the things that actors production has been so low since COVID and all the other things, the strikes, and so it's like most actors have found something else they have to do. I mean,
Yeah.
you still need to be a responsible person and pay your bills or take
Yeah.
care of your family. There are a lot of things to go back to. I mean, I could be a bartender if I had to. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I can listen to anybody make things up. Oh, honey, you don't want that drink because I can't make it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
you just have a shot of vodka or whiskey or something? I mean, I
Yeah.
can't be doing
Something
that.
easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't shake drinks. I just pour into the little tiny shot glasses. But that's great. So what was the first time that you were on a set? Was it the Optimist, Bay City Blues? Was that the first? Were some of those your first jobs,
Oh
or was
gosh,
it like
no,
the commercial?
I think my first thing was a commercial for
Yeah.
Hershey's Hefty Hamburgers, and it was and I don't think it's in business anymore, but the whole premise is the same because I'm a heavy girl, so I'm sitting on a bench and there's a pigeon behind me, and this young little uh, older my age nebbishy looking guy comes walking up. And he sits on the end of the bench with his hamburger. He's going to eat his hamburger. And as he sits on the bench, the bench tilts and I slide right down to him. The pigeon slides down to him, and that was the Hershey's Hefty Hamburgers. They're the best and the biggest and the heftiest, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I think that was my first one. How I got my SAG card was that commercial.
Was that
Um,
California, or was that a regional one somewhere
that was
else?
it was in California. I shot
Yeah.
it, but I think it was mostly in the Washington, Oregon area. You might have seen it up there. I mean, uh, I'm
Crazy.
not sure where it was, but that's what it was called. And I mean, that had to be 50 years ago now. So, I
Oh,
mean,
it'd be cool if that was somewhere online. Did you ever see Steve Carell's like burger commercial that he did in
I
like
don't
the 90s? Oh my
know.
gosh. It's
Honey,
before, it was like right around the same time that he was on the Dana Carvey show that got canceled after like, 8 episodes. It was like right around that time. And then yeah, that's so funny.
well,
So
a lot of us started in commercials. I mean,
yeah, it
you know,
was good money then. Not saying it's not good money now, but I've talked to so many people and it was like, oh yeah, you got a commercial. If it was a national or even a regional commercial, it was like, that's
yeah,
good
but
money.
when we did them and that was a national commercial, we were 3 networks.
Oh,
So
I
you
know.
really
Yeah.
so wherever it played, you got good monies from it. Now it's like streaming and this one and that one and movie theaters and on airplanes and it's like and it's crazy. I mean, I'm on YouTube right now for I shot a 911 Lone Star, which was so much fun. The cast was
Yeah.
terrific. And but I played a Karen. So now I'm on YouTube as a Karen. They don't reference anything else. It's just like, look at this Karen and what she did, and I'm like, holy crap! Like I'm not a Karen, and A and B, why aren't I getting a residual for this?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah, I
got
know.
12 million views, and I'm going, hello, YouTube's making the bucks, but I'm
Yeah,
not. So
yeah,
it's another ripoff, unfortunately, of performers. And you
yeah.
hear
No,
music
you're right.
play. It's everything. Music is playing with some of them, and the artist it's insane. It's insane, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, our youth, I don't think, are on top of that. So,
Yeah, no, that's something that is definitely that, and even like the streaming apps for like music, how little they get. And you think about like when I was a kid, and you remember from when you were a kid, like saving up to buy like a record or even a movie, like
oh
some of
yeah,
these
oh,
VHS tapes behind me. I have some that are sealed and not opened, and they have the price tag. One's like Weekend at Bernie's too, and it's $20. And I'm thinking in my head like. $20. If I bought this when I was like, well, when I was working, it was like I was making like $5 an hour. So I have to work like a half a day to buy
To
a
buy
movie. Now that money, it's like, oh, you could stream it, you have a whole library of things. So it's like this different kind of, yeah, it's not obviously good, but you're right. When you mentioned that before, like that there wasn't that many. So if you were able to get on a show or a national commercial or any commercial, like there wasn't that many channels. So the exposure to get on something was so big. Like even like when you're on Different Strokes in '85, like that show was huge. So even just having a little part on that show, you're getting your face out there and people are getting to know you.
Yeah, my first one was the Jeffersons, and that was when AFTRA was separate union, and the AFTRA had this thing called special business. So you basically weren't a background performer. You had special business that you did and got a pay rate and everything else. And I still get residuals from all of those shows. Though they here, let's see, I don't know what this one was for, but I have a residual here for $4.86.
Do they list what show it's for?
Oh, yeah, it has to come and tell you what show it was because they take the taxes and stuff, and then you have to and I'm a corporation too, so I have some checks that come to my corporation, some checks that oh,
Okay.
you know, it's crazy sometimes, but
Lot of accounting. But oh yeah, so you're in the Jeffersons too?
yes.
Oh, that's cool. No, so because some credits aren't on IMDb. That's the thing with IMDb. It's obviously not 100% accurate.
Well, I'll have to go back there and put that on there and say, "What the
Yeah,
hell?"
because that must have been
Here's a
late
picture of
70s,
it.
right? That was late
Yeah,
70s. Was that the first? So what was the first time you were on a set for like a movie or a TV show? Was it that?
I wanna say I think it was well, it could have been Give Me a Break too, because I did a number of
Oh, okay.
episodes doing special business on Give Me a Break. Um I'm trying to think what else. I mean, the Jeffersons, Different Strokes. Uh, I'm not really sure because I'm a little older now, but
Oh,
I
well,
didn't
you
check
and you
my
did so many. No, it's not about the older. There's so many things that you're on. What would you say? Because obviously, like I only have on IMDb, it starts at like 83. But even looking at that, you're busy. You're working a lot. What was the one show that you were on, or was there a movie that was the one that changed everything for you?
That would have been Daddy's Dying, Who's Got the Will?
Oh, okay.
Okay, and it was a MGM UA production, and I had done the stage play for 2 years. The
Oh,
show
that's
was written by
awesome.
Del Shores. I did 3 or 4 of Del Show's originated roles for him, but that one, Molly McClure, who played the grandmother in the play, she and I got to do the reprise our roles in the movie, and that got me a contract to ABC, and then that's what led me to Step by Step. So,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah. So that was that kind of thing happened, and literally it was going. ABC sold me to Laura Marr, who sold me to Warner Brothers. It's like slavery. Tell you, it's slavery.
But wow, oh,
It's like
that's so cool. Is that when you were
it,
were you on Carson promoting that? What were you on
no,
Carson for?
yes, I think that was it. When I was on Johnny's show with Johnny. It was we're talking about the fact that people had asked me to submit for an Oscar for that one, which I didn't get the nomination, but it was still a thrill to do all of the things that I got to do with that. Yeah,
Yeah. To be on Carson, that's obviously like royalty. I'm not saying the shows nowadays are like that, but it just doesn't have that same feel, I think. There was just even going back, it's so nostalgic watching old Carson episodes.
I think it's when I was on with I did both Johnny and I did Jay a couple times, but with Johnny, I think the success for him and what made him so great was that when you were speaking to him, he was listening to you, not preparing the next joke to say. Not everything was about for him was about that guest, and which was so much fun. That's probably why I was screaming through half the thing. Like, when he asked me if I was having visions. But it was funny because when I was first starting in that business, that when actors were together, wherever, in a bar or in a class, in another whatever, um, we'd always talk about when I get on the Carson show, I'm gonna tell these people like this. What I did when I was on there, if you remember, I turned and said, I told him, I said, I've made it. I'm on the Johnny Carson show. And now all those people that were mean to me, and I've kept their names, I can tell you who they were. Like,
But
so,
that's
I
what it
mean, but
was.
it
It
was,
was like to be an actor and actress, to be on it, it was almost like comedians. Like, think of every comedian that made it in that time. Carson gave them Seinfeld, Bill Maher, like all those people in the 80s. It was like they got that spot on Carson, and then their lives changed a lot. A lot of those people
look
changed
at
overnight.
Roseanne. I mean, look at Roseanne. She was on
Right.
there. I mean, I was fortunate to play the Queen several times
That
and
is
be with her.
so. What is that like, especially when you're active? Like I've talked to people that have portrayed people before, but not portrayed peers. Most of the time, it's like they portray like some murderer or something for like a TV movie. What is it like playing? Because you were on Roseanne. So
I was
did you
on.
bump into her like
I
after that or around it?
yeah, after that, we ran into each other, and oddly, she was coming from the fourth floor doctor. I was coming from the third floor doctor, and we were talking on the thing. I liked what you did, but you cried too much. She told,
Oh wow.
so. But she was very generous. When she was on Leno and told him Jay Leno that she had given me my start in show business. Um, but I've been, as you see, my credits go back a little
Yeah, you
further.
were working a lot
Yeah,
longer than that.
I was working, though being able to play her and stuff gave me an incredible advantage of, being on a show was fun. It was like a number one show. Also being, playing her at this point, was wonderful. I mean, Stephen Lee, who played, Tom Arnold, he has since passed away. May he rest in peace. We had a good rapport and a lot of fun went on. So,
But no, that's so cool. No, I think it's got to be so hard to play someone, especially if you're going to run it. At least it was a good
well,
experience when
that
you
was
ran
it.
into
I
him.
mean, and it's hard for me at times to lose my southern accent will creep out. And I said to them, I mean, I will do this. And generally when you're doing voices and doing things, within the first 15 minutes, you've convinced them. So if you lack it and slap around a little bit, it's accepted. But I
Yeah.
told them I didn't want to play her as a stereotype. I didn't think that was fair to me or her. Um, so I mean, I felt good about my work in there like that. She liked it, except for that I cried too much, and so I feel like I accomplished what I did. I mean, um, I, I I was afforded to meet a lot of people at that time that were also in the cast that are still friends. Um, I mean, I did a pilot in Georgia, uh, and I'm trying to even think of what the name of it was now. Oh, it's the Harley Hanks Harley Har Arlie Arlie Hanks Mysteries, and, we shot it in Georgia. It was huge cast, but it was one of those fun things. Polly Bergen was still alive and was doing it, and I can't remember the African American lady that was they worked together a lot like that, and, um but it was a fun thing. The pilot didn't get picked up. I think it was Bo Bridges' pilot got picked up by CBS at that time. But when our show aired, we tested higher than anything else. But by that time, it was too late. We were already gone. Um,
Ugh. Oh, so they
so,
still showed it even though it
oh, it's
wasn't going
always,
to be?
honey, they spent the money on it. They'll put it in like at midnight or something, or, fill in after a sports event or something. So yeah, they generally always get seen unless it's a tax thing and they just say write it whole thing off.
Oh, that's true that
Um,
they bury it. Yeah.
yeah,
Have you
so
had that before? Like movies or TV shows or even pilots that never saw the light of day, like to the public?
I don't think I've everything I've had is popped up somewhere or another, and I've also done voice work. So, in fact, I got to check, and this might be it. I don't know. I did the series Young Writers years ago,
Okay.
and so we just did a lot of the background voices and things after the show was shot, and so that's been running because there's a lot of places where shows got buried, but now that there's so much streaming and different things going on, shows are popping up all over the place that you forgot you did, or
Yeah.
I mean, I did like two or three Love American styles that I'm sure going to pop up somewhere, and so
Bill
there's
Bickley. So did you know Bill from then at
no, I
all?
don't think I did. No, I don't even, and we never discussed it. But yeah, um, so in fact, I just did the podcast the girls do. Two of the girls, Stacy Keenan and Christine Lakin, they have
Oh,
a
that's
podcast.
cool.
Yeah, and so I just did that one for them. They're now young women, families, and
Oh.
everything, um, uh, and both accomplished actresses, as you know, but they grew into other actresses and. Uh, but the podcast was a lot of fun because they had more clips than I can remember coming from that show, and I only did the
Yeah.
first year. That was one of those things where you go, okay, your client needs you in the the in the beauty parlor, and you go in there and you're never heard from again. It's like, bye bye. But I think Peggy Ray, who played the mother, and may she rest in peace now too. Um, she and I about that's I think just about the third episode when Cody came on, uh, that we went. This is going to be a kids show. We're not long for this world. We're out of here soon. So but that's the show business. That's what happens. So
Yeah. That's
you
gotta
know,
be
but
cool
I
seeing them. Was that the first time you talked to them in a long time?
yes, I mean, I'll see him on the streets or something like that and through Facebook or, Instagram, but that was the first time we all got together and shot the whole scenes and stuff,
That's cool.
and, uh, I mean, it's amazing. In my head, I'm like going, "Okay, Bill, why don't you write a show about Aunt Penny and the 2 girls come to stay with her?" That would be a fun thing anyway too, but it'd be more about them than me, but I just like I'm at the older age, like, I'll just work 7 out of 10.
Yeah, yeah, right?
Anyway, just as long as that kind of thing. Um, but there's so many things that I've been a part of, and I love theater. So I've done, like I said, Del Shores wrote Daddy's Dying. I did Cheating for him, which is his first one, and Daddy's Dying and Sordid Lives. And, he's still doing stuff. He's got a great foundation that works with the LGBTQ. And I think there's another letter I'm forgetting, community that he really works with them and has parlayed his writing success into making sure others are safe and taken care of. But
That's awesome.
their family too, all of them, and all the people we met along the way. So
That's great. No, that just wrote another thing about step by step. Just thinking about that, I can't imagine that. Like memory wise, I feel like you were in the show for so long. It was just that first year.
yeah, just the first. I think that time they did 22 episodes, and we only missed one episode. It was a family camping or something, and we didn't go on that one. So yeah,
But yeah, Cody, it's so
but it
funny.
was
Two of those Bill shows. Obviously, he was so successful in a lot of the shows that he did, but in that one and the ones that are obviously on the same night, that and Family Matters, the characters that became kind of the show weren't featured in the first episode really too much. Urkel
no,
was kind of like an
Urkel.
accidental mistake, and then Cody became the show.
Yeah, that's what Peggy and I went, "We're not
Yeah.
long in
Yeah.
this here," like things working in different ways. It's like when you always hear the thing like the door closes, but the window opens, or the window closes and the door opens. If I had still been locked into that show, I wouldn't have been able to do In the Line of Fire.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that's the one thing I
So
always talk to people. Obviously, to be on a series and you're on a series for 15 years, it's like, okay, that's great. But for me, just as being an outsider, looking at the stuff that you've worked on, yeah, you're right. You wouldn't be able to do a lot of those things right then and there. Is that your husband?
that's my husband moseying through right now.
Is he still, he worked in the film industry? Is that how you guys met?
Oh, he worked for Disney for a long time.
Oh, cool.
He started off in the wildlife department and worked there every time you saw an animal in the wild, it was something that his department worked on.
Oh,
And
that's
then
cool.
he worked on the Circle Vision, Canadian Circle Vision. He did that for Epcot as well as the French thing and the French along the river when they're doing that when if you're at Epcot and have ever been there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then so did there's one thing with the blue and the gray, which was about Americana going through the Civil War and stuff like that. He did all of those things. Um,
That's cool.
but
No, I
you
looked
know,
at his credits and I'm like, oh, I wonder what he worked on. And one of the things was My Science Project. He was like a
yes,
location manager on
he
that. But I interviewed a guy that did the special effects for that a while
and
back. And
he did the first Frankenweenie
oh,
before this.
really?
Yes, he did the first. He was part of the doing the first Frankenweenie,
Oh, wow,
and
that's
then
cool.
in the production stuff, and then the second one came later. Um, so,
Did
but
you guys
yeah,
meet on a film or just?
we met on stage in the theater. He was the stage manager, and I was in the chorus.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
yes, and
A
we've been
Hollywood
married
love
15
story.
years. Yep,
That's awesome.
that's it.
So obviously, like the credits that I'm sure people mention a lot of, like when you talk to him, like Seinfeld. memorable.
That was so fun. That was so fun. In
Yeah.
fact, there's a cancer organization called We Spark that was started by Wendy Jo Sperber. So anybody wants to donate to a cancer place, this is the best place to ever do it. They take care of the entire family.
Oh
So
wow.
so there's uh, the psychiatrists and I mean, there's everybody to deal with the kids knowing that mommy's very sick or daddy's very
Yeah.
sick. They have different things that go on there that's wonderful. And Wendy Jo did pass of breast cancer, and then Karen Allen took it over. And I mean, it's just a wonderful organization. But I'm digressing because what I wanted to say was every year they do a big poker match, and Jason Alexander is the host. And so
Oh.
we're going to be doing that March 19th, I think it is, that we're going to be playing poker. Texas
Are
Hold'em
you a
the
poker
entire.
player?
Yeah, I play poker. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but yeah, all in.
Yeah.
And I go like, "Holy crap, she won!" I like that.
Is what's his name going to be involved? He's always involved in the celebrity poker. Welcome back, Cotter. He's always involved in that.
I haven't seen him there.
Oh yeah.
But there, I mean, I've played with. There's a lot of people that are involved that come out to do that. A lot of celebrities, as well as very well known poker players who come for the goodies and
Yeah, yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like.
Right.
But there's
What
always
was the
great.
organization called? We Spark.
We Spark. Uh huh.
Cool.
It's
I'll put it in
it's
the
in.
episode notes. That's cool.
Please do, please do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's a great fun organization, and Nancy Allen, yeah. She took it over for Wendy. She and Wendy were very good friends, and she took the whole organization over and has kept
Yeah,
it
that's
alive
great.
now for like 30 something years going on now. And there's just some great people that are there, but yeah.
Well, that's cool. Hopefully you
Mhm.
win. That'd be nice. But I wanted to make sure. Obviously, I've seen you in so much over the years. Like Midnight in the Garden, Good and Evil, I love, and that must have been really cool because you grew up there. Like I remember we stopped in Savannah on our way when we moved out to Oregon. We took like this long, the southern
It's
route
all
so we
the
could hit those states.
catches.
And I just loved walking around just thinking about that movie. To me, that movie just is so well done. It's beautifully shot, and the acting's amazing.
I think a lot of people, I mean, because it was Clint Eastwood doing it, had a hell of a cast, me included. Um, and I fortunately got to read for that because I never got to read with Clint when he was doing uh, In the Line of Fire. But I got to come over to make sure I could audition for the part when he was doing that movie. And so I was very grateful to do that. And all of his camera crew who'd been with him for 30 years were the same crew that had been on Speed 2,
Oh my god.
the Green family. That was fabulous. Anyway, he uh he he was like he asked me to do something and I said, "May I ask a question though? It wouldn't be if I went this way and that because then they," and he went, "We're going to do what the little darling here is saying." She was like, "Oh, I think, yeah, that's pretty good." Like this, I mean, he was very open to being helpful with the actors and things like that. And um, I was very grateful for that. And it was fun working with everybody there at that time. So it was great. But I will tell you at one point, because I didn't work with Kevin Spacey, somebody kept saying, "What was it like working with Kevin Spacey?" And I was like, "I never worked with Kevin Spacey." "Yes,
Yeah.
you did." "No, I didn't." "Yes, you did." "No, I didn't." And then they said, Were you in Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil?" And I went, "Yes, I was." "Well, then you worked with Kevin." And I went, "Oh my God, I worked with Kevin Spacey."
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing and stuff. But I mean, Savannah is beautiful,
Oh,
and it is. And so, if anybody gets to visit, they should go there and visit for sure.
the
It's
best.
if and read the book first because the book is the writers condensed Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. It was like the trials were like going on it was back and forth and back and forth, and it was over 7 or 8 years. And
Oh
this
my
was
god.
condensed down to 2.5 hours. So
Yeah.
it's worth it to read the book and see everything that's going on and meet because some of the characters are more crazy in the book than they could have put on film and stuff. So um
I
anyway, it's
gotta check that
interesting.
out.
Yeah, do read the book because it is amazing. If you like the movie, read the book.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. No, but the one thing I watched was the You're Married with Children episode.
YMCA.
Yeah.
That
I
was
love
the
that
third.
the name of the club was great. Oh yeah, it's a group of women who want to murder their husbands. And
Always wackadoodle stuff. Always,
yeah.
always wackadoodle stuff. It was funny because I was shooting Karina. I was supposed to shoot Karina on that day. And that's when they said, "No, you're now working on this day." I said, "No, I can't. You booked me for this day and you booked me for this day. It's not my problem that you guys got confused. I'm committed to this movie. I mean, I've shot some, I have to go back to this movie." So they were going, they go, "Okay, you can go do your movie." I said, "There's no, I can. There is, I will go do this movie." And I said, they talked to the producers and stuff, and I had to leave there at 1 o'clock to be back to film Married with Children. And along about, I would say it was like about 10:30. I still haven't worked, and I've been there since 6. And I'm like going, and I said, "You guys, I have to leave here. I have to be back by 1, which means I'm leaving here at 12:30, 12, 12:15. I'd like to leave because it's a long drive from where we are shooting to where I got to go." And they go, "Oh no." The producer's talking to me. The producer is like you are right now, but behind you is Whoopi.
Oh.
And the producer's going, "This is going to be a very successful movie. It's going to be fabulous and stuff. It's more important that you do this film than you go do that television show." And I'm going behind her.
Oh,
Anyway,
Whoopi, yeah.
what's going on behind me, behind her, and I'm like, "I'm so sorry, but I do have to go. I have to leave here by 12:15 or 12:30 at the latest." Yeah, this and that was going on. I had the best time with both of them. The young girl has grown up to be amazing, but that picture, frankly and personally, Whoopi Goldberg should have won an Emmy for that. Her performance was brilliant.
Yeah, she had some great around that time, some amazing movies that she did
It
acting
was
wise. Like she's
absolutely
so funny, but then she plays like these really even the one what was the one with was that the one with Ted Danson? Was that Karina? No, right?
no, that was with he just passed away I guess over a year ago now. Played a Goodfellows. I can think of things they're in, but not their damn names. Uh, he was in
What's the
Goodfellas.
name of
He's the sorry Goodfellows.
Oh, Ray Liotta. That's who's in the
Yes,
Karina.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Okay. Yeah.
and their rapport was so great, and how she dealt with the child. I mean, truly, if I'd have been a vote, I'd have campaigned for her like crazy because she
Yeah.
was just absolutely brilliant in that. It should have been submitted and should have won. Period. But that again is a when the pendulum was too far to the white side, not to the,
Oh,
and
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that kind of thing. And my personal opinion again, and I'm entitled to it. Everybody
Yeah.
has one. So, but she was incredible.
No, that's awesome. And you have so many credits. Obviously, we're going to talk about all of them. But like at this point, you're working all the time. But obviously, the thing you want to do, like a lot of people, it's like, hey, I want to get something that is a regular thing sometimes. And for you to get on a soap opera, was that something that you auditioned for prior to landing that role?
I have been very blessed. I did not have to audition at all.
You didn't? Oh my
No,
gosh.
no. First of all, Fran Bascom was the casting director at the time. Fran was one of those casting directors that went to every play, everywhere. She loved theater and she loved actors. And they were doing this thing where they needed a heavy set woman to come in and do this part. Now, for me, she's not telling me this part. She's just saying, "Would you work a soap opera?" And I said, "Of course I'll work a soap opera. I did General Hospital years ago. What the hell? Yeah." And so I get the part. They called, they booked you. This is going. Now, that was the first call from my agent. The second call comes from my best friend who calls me up. And I'm just going to say it was Del Shores. And Del Shores says to me, "Oh, you can't wait to see your husband." And I go, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I dated him. He's a good kisser." Like this. And I'm like, what? Like this. I'm still like not comprehending anything. So I'm finally getting to see, and I'm going, all 200 and something pounds of me is going, they have the wrong person. I'm calling my agent back and I'm going, Mark, they have the wrong person. No, this is who Fran hired. This is your monies and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And it was like supposed to be a little arc. It was like about 4 or 5 episodes. Okay. And I'll do it. I'm getting there. And as the makeup artist is doing my hair glamorous and 14 layers of eyelashes. And, I'm like, ooh, and they've given me this fabulous gown. And I'm still sitting there in the mirror going, any second now, the producers are going to call down here and go, Miss Darbo, we are so sorry. We did make a mistake. Oh, we are, I'm like, I'm really self-deprecating here. And just as I finish that sentence, the loudspeaker goes, Patrika Darbo, please report upstairs to the producer's office. And I was like, told you. My Nina, who was my makeup artist, like, she was like, and she like drops the makeup brush. I go upstairs and it was just to welcome me to the family, blah, 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 which was great. Man, Steve Wyman did that. Tom Langan created the role for me. It was fabulous. Anyway, so we did a couple of episodes, and the first day I aired, because they're ahead of time. At that time, they were only like about 5 or 6 episodes ahead. The day I aired, I had a 3-year contract uh, given to me, and so did the guy playing my husband. The audience fell in love with me and fell in love with the fact that if this big girl, because that was a lot of the audience viewers, if this big girl could get this gorgeous man, I mean, things are good. And Kevin and I, we had a great rapport and everything else, and the whole characters, we decided that we were doing each other everywhere. I mean, throw off the desk, I'm there. My hands were always touching him, and I just, okay, there you come back. Um,
Absolutely.
so it was great. I put a hot tub in his office. When I put the hot tub office in there, I was like, I went into as, just after we had a blocking and taping. I'll go in and I look at this and I'm like, go guys, lower the water, because when I get up, the water's going to flow over and I'm going to be mortified. I don't want that going on, and there's got to be a lot of bubbles because these float. And anyway, so the crew thought it was wacky too, but loved every one of them. And so anyway, we went in there and we got in that hot tub, and I had to come out in this nude thing, and I was like, "Oh, sweet Jesus, what are you doing to me?" No. Anyway, so I got in there, and they bubbled things up for me. So when my boobs floated, they anyway. It was fun. We had a great time together. We are a good couple, and
That's awesome.
CBS
That's
needs
gonna
to
be
hire us where there were all that dramas going on and
yeah.
you know.
But that's gonna be the biggest compliment, especially when it's like, all right, this is gonna be 4 or 5 episodes, and then it's like, that's all you're thinking in your head. You do your job, and then it's like, oh, okay.
And
That's gonna be amazing.
I just did an episode last March. So I've been doing the show for over 20 years.
Oh my
So
god.
I mean, it was a blessing. I'm very grateful for it. Fran, may you rest in peace. Thank you. I have to tell you, I'm going to cry. The daytime fans, Doug, are the most incredible, wonderful fans you'll ever
Yeah.
meet. And they are so, so incredibly loyal. And I love each and every one of you. So because
Oh.
you got me where I am, so it's great. Anyway,
Yeah,
thank
no,
you.
they love I talked to Kevin Speartis and Sean Kanan, who had, like, long runs on shows, and yeah, they were in other things before, but as soon as their episode aired, it was like everyone when they couldn't go anywhere. Like, they would get coffee, like, the next day, and it's like, "Oh my god, you're so and so," and it's like, "All right, it's changed."
And Sean and I've been friends for years. I mean, I've done several little filmy things with him.
Yeah.
Um, we joked one time that I'd kissed him more times than anybody else had at this point. And and I was so grateful because I got an Emmy nomination from Studio City, which that he and his wife created,
Oh,
Michelle Kanan.
yeah,
And
yeah, I noticed that on
so
there.
yeah, it was, so that was great. And and Sean is doing so well and stuff like this. I don't even think he has time to now do more of the Studio City, but it was a wonderful experience, and I'm very
Oh, yeah,
grateful.
that's so cool. Yeah, I chatted with him, I think right around the time that he that came out, maybe, or something like that. But it's cool that they put him in Cobra Kai. I thought that was really cool because when I talked to him, that's all he was like. I love that role, and to be able to get an opportunity, and this was like before it was even Cobra Kai was becoming like this monster thing. It was right when Netflix picked it up. And it was cool that they gave his character like some love after all
I
those
think so. I
years.
mean, I hope it leads to more things, though I know he is very attached to B&B, which was a wonderful experience for me. I did not have to audition there. My credits and things carried over that, Brad Bell hired me to come on and be the Shirley Spectra, which was the daughter of the sister of Sally Spectra, who was a very big character in that show, and those fans welcomed me. Was great, and the new Sally, which is she's now on YNR, Courtney Hope, she's a doll, and so a lot of good friends and stuff there, and
That's awesome. Did it take time to get used to the schedule of a soap versus like TV and film? Because it is a lot
well, it
faster,
is
right?
if you're in heavy show, you're generally probably working at least 3 times a week, and you're memorizing, like, 40 pages a day, and you shoot 40 pages a day. So you need to know them. There's not monitors to tell you what's going on, and you need to be there. I mean, we'd have a couple times. It took a while to get your brain trained more, but your brain is a muscle, and you learn it faster. And one of the best things that helped me with is if I do have an audition, I generally can memorize lines faster,
Yeah.
which gives me an opportunity to create the character more because the lines are in my head, and I can tell the story at that point from the character's point of view and things. Um, but it is a tough business. I mean, I have tremendous respect for everyone that I work with and everyone that is in that genre right this moment because there are so many pages. I mean, we shoot a movie script a
I know it's
day.
crazy.
So, so you got to be on your toes and great respect. It's some of the hardest work I've ever done. And when you're out of it, suddenly going back like last March, I'm like, "Oh god, oh
Yeah.
god,
I
oh god."
forgot about this. Yeah.
I'm like, "How?" Like this. So, anyway, it's crazy, so but if they ask me back tomorrow, I'll be back in a second. If the Gates ever gets their together, Kevin and I would love to come on and be a very rich family being snooty and crazy.
Oh wow, this has been so much fun. One thing I love asking folks is early on in your career when you first started getting on sets, did you ever keep any mementos? Did you think of that, like keeping scripts like the Jeffersons or Different
Oh,
Strokes
I've
or other
kept
shows?
most those times I didn't really think of it, but I in the past I've now kept scripts and I ask people to autograph them because then I give them to dog charities that I
Oh,
work
that's
with so they can have auction items to use and things like that. That I think is great, and you know I'm on the performers executive group at the Television Academy, which is where I won my through where I got my Emmy, and so I mean, there are a lot of things I try to stay more involved with and encourage any young actor if it feeds your soul, go for it. But it is called show business.
yeah.
It's not just having the glamour of this; it's business. Now, I have my husband, which is a fabulous business manager, but his health is not good now and his memory is not. And I have no idea where anything is
Oh,
because that's what's our partnership. So
yeah.
it's I got shingles. I went, what is that? Ow! So yeah, and not good. I mean, so I would encourage everybody to make sure that you um, find out everything that's going on because you need to know that. You need to
Yeah,
know that.
shingles aren't fun. I got them after my daughter was born. I was really stressed because they were like, "Oh, you have shingles. You're really young to get shingles," and it was the most painful thing. It felt like somebody was pulling my skin apart.
Well, I have to say I got the shot, and they told me
Oh, okay.
it's only 90 something percent effective if you get stressed and stuff like that. And I had the chicken pox as a kid and things, and I got them. They came across my chest, across here. I felt like that somebody had shot a firecracker through my chest, and then
Oh
it
my god.
exploded, but burning my entire chest, and the pain, like I thought I was having a heart attack at first. I truly did. being an older woman, a little bit overweight. I'm like, I'm having a heart attack. No, you got shingles. Suddenly the blisters started, and it's like it's the worst thing ever. So, um, listen, I told the doctor, I said, if this is a mild case, I said, if I ever got a full case, I'd be leaping off that building. I go to the room,
Yeah.
just jump, just jump. It was the worst pain I've ever been through. Now, of course, I have no children, so I can't equate it to that. But I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
tell you that never, ever again, please, never, ever again.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And how about, do you have did you ever keep anything else? Like obviously the scripts, but did you ever keep any wardrobe or anything from any of the sets that you were on?
Well, when I was doing days, and I did get a couple of outfits that Richard gave me at the end, things that other people wouldn't use, and that was nice. But normally, you can't really take anything
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that set is established, and uh, and when I started, it wasn't in high def, so now it's in high def. So you have more things. You have to keep things the same, and they used to be the painters would come in and they would paint. They put the setup and then they would paint masking tape, and that would be where the seam was to match the things like that, which you can't really do anymore now because of the high def thing.
Yeah. It picks up
So it's
everything.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy, and now Days of Our Lives is on Peacock, which and they're 9 months ahead in filming. So unfortunately, if something's not working, they're screwed. It's hard to start getting things organized and back in place because you got characters gone, and it's crazy. It's crazy. And when we were doing, they were still having to do COVID things. Every day we got tested, we had to wear a mask. Except when we were on, the minute we stepped across the line onto stage, we could take the mask off. But the minute we could step back across the stage, it had to go back on. I mean, the safety was incredible. There was not like coffee cups or anything. It's like you brought it with you in the morning if you wanted it because there was nothing around that could be contagious.
Patrika has the best laugh. What a great man. So fun. So much fun. I loved great again, like I always say this. I love all these interviews I do, but I do love when it turns into a conversation. And she was a blast. Great back and forths. Yeah, definitely time that I'll cherish because again, so many of those connections with Bill Bickley and Step by Step and future guest that is represented by the same person as Patrika and your Flack. So it's all these connections too, all these chats I've done in the past, and I kind of all weave together. But man, it's so cool to have Patrika as someone that I've chatted with, somebody I love growing up in so many different things, like Step by Step. Honestly, I thought she was on the show so much because those first few years is when my family would sit around the TV. We're doing Friday. We're watching TGIF. We're sitting there from 8 to 10 watching all those shows as a family. Something that I wish was brought back. But so your homework, speed to cruise control, baby. We're going to keep the same script. We're not going to change anything. We're just going to shoehorn in Jason Patrick because Keanu's doing something else. Sandra, we'll do this movie and then you'll get Hope Floats. Oh, yeah, and Willem Dafoe as an absolute nut job. Ugh, can't wait to talk about it with our action sequel expert coming back for the first time in a while. And of course, Jamie, my buddy, on the sequel watching journey. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to share our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.